Hi, welcome back to my channel, Tea Time with Peace and Joy. My name is Doris. If this is your first time here, welcome. And in the last few episodes, we talked about how to manage conflict. And we talked about, there are two things that we are going to talk in details. One is active listening, which we talked about in the last episode. And this time we are going to talk about the I statement. So I don't know if you heard about the I statement, but it's really helpful. So if you like this type of content, please subscribe to the channel, click on the bell so you will get the notification for the next upload video. And also give me a thumbs up if you like this type of content, or if you like this video, share with your friends. Okay, so what exactly is I statement? I statement is a statement where especially used when you are trying to confront the other person, or when you are having an argument with another person, and it focuses on your own emotions or what you are going through inside of you, or your feelings, instead of attacking the other person. So I'll give you some scenarios and examples, and we can talk more in details about it. But before that, I want to tell you why it is important and why it's beneficial. Because if you are saying you, you don't care about me, you're not a good person, if you say you, the other person is going to get into this defensive mode and want to really argue with you instead of really listen to what you have to say. So that doesn't help the entire situation. So what you want is for the other party to be on the same team as you, to resolve the problem instead of you're against each other and arguing with each other, right? So when you're using I statement, there will be less harm and more collaboration, and that will be a win-win situation for everybody. So last time we talked about active listening. Of course, if you listen to the other party, and at the end you can use your I statement to state your point of view. But if you feel like that may not be the best time, or if you really want to reflect on that within yourself before you talk about it, you can also say let me sit with it and let's talk about it later. So that is helpful too, if you really need that time, or if the other party needs that time. But if not, then you can jump right in and talk about using the I statement, talking about your side of the story or your point of view. Just to remember, you're not really trying to argue with the other person. You're really trying to just say what is in your mind. Okay, so the first scenario, for example, if you just came home from work or from school and your house is a mess, and you just clean it up before you got out of the house, and your roommate or your spouse or your children or whoever that is, or your parents are making a mess out of the house, and you're like, oh, I can't believe that. I thought that I'm coming home to rest, right? So what you are really tempted to say would be one of the followings: you always make a mess of the house. How can you do that to me? I just cleaned it up this morning. Or you are I don't care if your room is messy, but don't mess up my living room, things like that. So those won't help, because that will just start a fight, right? But instead, if you really say that in a way that focus on your own feelings, especially when you had that active listening beforehand, it's much easier, because you can say something like, coming home to a messy house really make me really, really tired. That's why I clean it up in the morning, and I expect to rest when I get home. But it seems like now I can't do that. Things like that. That will help, because the other person is listening to you, focusing on you instead of you attacking them. And when you are talking about negotiating the entire process, focus on their behavior, not that person. Don't attack them, but just focus on that behavior, what is really happening there. Okay, let me give you a second scenario. So for example, if the other party has no time for you, and you feel like they don't care about you anymore, no matter if they are your friend, your spouse, your child, like whoever you love, right? It's really tempting to say something like, you just don't care about me anymore because you don't ever spend time with me, right? So using the words like never, ever, those kind of words, those are not helpful at all, let me tell you. No, because your argument will be with that word, never, instead of like what is really happening, because they will be tempted to say, no, I just had dinner with you on such a day, right? So it's not helpful because they will just pick on that word. So you're arguing about never instead of like really the situation is like not spending time together, right? So instead, if you say something like, when I'm alone, for like maybe not for a long time, but let me rethink it. So if you say something like, okay, if I am not with you and couldn't spend time with you, I feel like I'm not loved. It's hard for me, and I don't feel your love. I don't feel that you care about me anymore. So you're talking about your feeling. It's not really what the other person is doing. So you're not saying you don't care about me anymore. It's like I feel that I'm not cared about. I'm not being loved. So those are better wordings than using you. So try to use that. It's hard to practice. Like even I do that all the time, and I teach people all the time how to use that, but still sometimes it's hard for you to think at that moment. You have to really train yourself into that mode of thinking. So it doesn't come naturally, I would say, for a lot of people, but we can practice and we can get better on that. Okay. So saying that, I feel like I'm not loved when we don't spend time with each other, things like that. It's much better than what I said earlier. Say you never spend time with me, right? Because it's not attacking the other person. Okay, let me give you the last but not least, like the last scenario. A lot of times now we text each other, right? No matter what platform you use, but we text each other. And sometimes you see that, or that they saw the text, but they were not replying. And that may be really upsetting to you. Maybe you're thinking like, I really need to know the answer because I really want to plan ahead for our dinner tonight, or for my plan over the weekend, or whatever that is, right? So if instead of saying you never reply my text messages, or you don't reply messages right away and it's really annoying, instead of attacking the other person, which doesn't help at all, if you can say that, not getting a reply really makes me nervous because I need time to do blah, 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 blah. That would be much better than attacking the other person, right? Or you can say that, you can really elaborate it a little bit more. So you may be saying, I really value you and really want to spend time with you over the weekend. So without getting a reply really make me nervous, or make me feel like unloved, or and I feel anxious because I don't know how to plan for my weekend. You can elaborate it even more, and in that way you are focusing on yourself. You are not attacking the other person. You are talking about the situation, the behavior, instead of the other party's personality. So it's much easier for the other person to listen to you, especially with the active listening at the beginning. Okay, so I hope this is a helpful episode to you. I hope you learned something in here. Let's work together, let's practice together. All of us can practice more on this and do that more often. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment down below, and I'm going to answer your questions. And if there's any content that you would like to see more, just leave me a comment and we can talk more about the topic that you want to talk about. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.